this is a great guy. And I was just telling him how wonderful his wife is. And Sam and I are looking for couples that we can connect with that are really cool. And there was another couple I invited that I really wanted to be here, but they didn't show up. So these guys are like really super cool. And when Stacy came up to me and just started talking, she had the tears welling up in her eyes about Sam's song and the whole message and what's going on. Nathan came into my life when he was at a really dark place, and no pun intended, because he was going blind. We didn't know it. So I'm going to let him share all that, but I wanted you guys to realize that recovery, when we say recovery, it's not just recovery from drugs. It's not just recovery from alcohol. It's not recovery just from abuses, although we have that too. But the big thing that blows my mind with his testimony is, going into blindness and coming back out of blindness. And now he's driving a car. And, it's just so cool to see what the miracles that can happen if you just believe and don't give up. And he's got an incredible amuna. That's the name in Hebrew language. He's got an incredible amuna. And remember, it's impossible to please the Creator without amuna. Nathan.
When are we gonna see that arm wrestling match?
I'll arm wrestle the cowboy. One of the things that is important to understand is we don't decide what family we're born into, nor do we decide the circumstances in which we're conceived. So we enter the world and we're raised by parents that may not have been ready to be parents. We're also raised by parents that have experienced their own hurts, habits, and hang-ups. More than once, I have been referred to as a modern-day Job. And if you know the story in Scripture, then you know that he lived a good portion in deep darkness, physically, mentally, spiritually. And he was left alone. His wife left, his children were no longer, his friends left, and he was in a place of misery. And some of our parents were in that place before they had us. So how can we expect broken people to raise their children the way that people who aren't broken are able to raise their children? I know for my parents, they weren't ready. And it didn't take me long as a child to realize they weren't ready, but I was there. So more times than not, I became the parent at a very young age, just trying to keep everything together. I was more mature in many age at a very young age than my parents were in their age. I would try to keep peace within my household to the best of my ability. And I was punished for that in different ways. I don't want to get into a lot of detail. I mean, just to throw a couple things out there. When my dad screamed, he didn't just scream at you, he screamed to the point where his saliva was hitting your face. My mother was severely abused, sexually, physically, and I discovered that when I was a sophomore in high school, when my mom had a nervous breakdown when she was at her dad's bed. He had cancer, and all she wanted him to do was apologize. She made a deal almost like within herself that if he apologized for the ways that he abused her, that she could forgive him and go on in life. Unfortunately, he did not apologize. She did not receive what she desired in her heart to receive from another person. But when we expect something from somebody else, you give away your control. My mother could have forgiven and could have gone on. But in her heart, in her mind, she said, only if. Well, at his funeral, on the way home, my mom had a nervous breakdown and never came back. So my mom lived in group homes and became a ward of the state. She never got out. Two years after this breakdown, my dad filed for divorce. And us children were left alone to take care of ourselves. My dad took care of the bills, made sure there was food, but that was it. My mom would come home at times. She'd be just lay in her bed. I'd have to beg her to get up, to shower, to eat. And then I'd wake up in the morning and she'd be gone again. She was back into the hospital. So I went through that during my high school. When I was a little boy, I was about 6 years old. I had hate in my heart, not hate for my parents or for my dad, but hate because of the behavior, the hurt that was being expressed through him hurt me so bad as a young child that one time I ran away and I had my fist clenched and I received messages. This is one of the blessings that I have. We all have different gifts and different skills and receive different things. I believe the word isn't just written, the word is received. And you know the source of the word based on what it produces within you. So if it produces good fruit, then it comes from the source of love. And you can trust it because it proves itself consistent. And when you share with other people, they're also healed as a result. They can relate. and they also know the source. So when I was a little boy, I remember clenching my fist, looking up into the sky. And I had so much hate, I had so much frustration. And this is the message that I received: love and hate cannot coexist. You must choose one. There was a pause. I paused, tears running down my eyes. Then he said, I am love. Now, when my dad would do different things to me, he would say, I do these things because I love you. But I knew at a young age that that wasn't love. But when I received this message, I felt the calmness and a release. And I lifted my hands up into the sky and I said, I receive your love within me. And I believe at that moment I was transformed. From that time, there were times my dad would come at me and I would say, Dad, it's okay, you can do these things, you can say these things, but I love you anyway. That was the one thing that would stop my dad in his tracks like a little child. He would turn away from me crying. I didn't use that to my advantage. I expressed it when it was needed. And it wasn't just needed for me to have some relief. But I said it to him because number one, I meant it. Number two, the love within me meant it, and he needed to hear it. We all need to hear it. Words are meaningless without the consistency of the action to back it up. If somebody says, I love you, what does that mean? It means I trust you. That means I love your company. It means many things, and I think it can be endless, but I can guarantee you they're all good. They're all things that you would gravitate toward, and things that you would share with another person or a multitude, and you don't feel bad afterwards. So in my parents' brokenness, I would communicate love to them even when the world would say they weren't worthy of it. Because it was missing out of their life and is ultimately what they needed. My mom said, when this came out about the abuse, she said, I had children because I wasn't loved, and I knew that my children would always love me, for me. So I did the best I could to communicate that love, even though I was hurt as a child, not having parents and having to be the parent. It was a burden. It was heavy. In fact, years later, when I went to counseling, I was put under hypnosis, and when I came through, the doctor told me that I never had a childhood. And he recommended that I partition a section of my home, buy kids' toys for myself, and play with toys. I said, well, I'm not gonna do that. I have children at that time, and I experienced play through playing with my kids. So that's not gonna happen. My wife will say,
Clarify the toys, you know, like a 4x4.
well, I have,
What?
my wife will say it. I mean, I like collecting things, so I like nice things, and I guess those are my toys. I like watches, I like jewelry, I like books, I like a lot of different things, and she puts up with it. Now, I also don't put her in debt, so it's not like racking up credit card debt or anything like that. It's under control. So anyway, I do remember a time I was about a senior in high school. My dad came over. He visited on occasion. And, you know, he started telling me some things that he went through when he was a kid, things that his dad did to him. It was like he was trying to justify certain stuff, you know? And I wasn't having it. I just said, Dad, you know, I'm sorry that those things happened to you. You know, they shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry that you were hurt that way. But you know, damn it, the things that you did to us, the things that you said, the things that you did, the way you neglected, I said, that's on you. You know, hurt people, but don't ever think that it's an excuse, because it's not. And if people live their life believing that it is an excuse, then you're going to continue to hurt people. You need to look deep at yourself in the mirror and come to the realization that we are all responsible for our own decisions. And if we make good decisions, people are blessed. And if we make poor decisions, then people can be hurt. So make sure that you monitor your thoughts and your behavior. When I was 15, a family member picked me up and he drove. And he drove off a ravine in the Kettle Moraine Forest. We flew 300 feet, nosedive, flipped 3 times in an Omni Horizon hatchback, and I didn't have a seatbelt on.
Wow. That car wasn't very strong either.
Hatchback. We all survived. There were 3 people in the car. I received another message, Nathan, it wasn't your time. I won't say the names of the passengers because this is being recorded, but I was told that they need you. So I crawled out the back. It was midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I crawled on my hands and knees, military style, found the nearest house and got help. I was in shock so bad when I got into the house that they literally had to hold me down on the couch because I was falling off the couch, convulsing. I ended up having internal bleeding. No broken bones. At 19 years old, I went to my mother's hearing and she became a ward of the state officially. I wasn't able to take care of her because she had a back injury. I worked at a local logging company and 1 month into working there, carrying a 180-pound log, 8 feet long with my coworker. And the guy must have had a bad morning because he threw the log as hard as he could to the side and I twisted with the log and it snapped my spine. For 5 years. From that point, I suffered from 75 back spasms that were so severe, they dropped me to my knees screaming. When I got married, I couldn't even stand for the ceremony. I had to kneel on the ground. I have 2 healthy children, extremely grateful for that. Went through 2 divorces. Then at age 31, I was visiting some family and got looked like some pit marks, some burl holes in the back of my leg. And within 3 months, I got the flu, then a chest cold for multiple months. And then I started losing my motor functions, my speech, my ability to walk. My memory was affected. I was wheelchair bound, and I used a computer to speak to my kids. It took them 3 years to diagnose. I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, multiple viral infections, and other things. There's like 5 things. That's how I met Kurt. That's how I met Rock through this journey. So it's been a 20-year journey, and I'm still living it. And I tell you what, I don't want to live it. I don't want to live it. I'm tired. But we have one body, and you got to live in that body for as long as you're here. So I manage it to the best of my ability. The best I feel is that I have a toothache constantly throughout my body. Deep aches. And I've been to so many doctors. I've been on so many different pharmaceutical drugs. I kept 333-gallon garbage bags full of old vials. And that's not even all of them, but it's been a long journey. For 6 years, I couldn't go into light at all. I couldn't even have a light bulb in the refrigerator because it would trigger seizures. I've had over 2,500. All right, that's Joel. But you know what? The story of Joel doesn't end that way, does it? No. So Job had a choice. He could either live in his past, talk about all of the hurts, habits, and hang-ups, and live that memory out to his last breath. But I believe that he transitioned. He transformed. Something within him was changed. He shifted from being a victim to being victorious. And it's not only a choice, but it's a change. And those who make the decision to change their identity can live out the rest of their life, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the past, can live out the rest of their life with holding their head high, holding their hand high, and praising. Not only because they're survivors, but because they're stronger, wiser, and ready for the next day with an attitude of gratitude. You know, I received this message. Now, I want to make clear these aren't audibles, but these are complete thoughts that come from nowhere. Now, when you're thinking about the topic, it comes in the timing that it comes. It's this: blessings are limitless and abundant for all. If you haven't thought about your blessings in a while, hearing that sounds very foreign. may be thinking, who the hell is this guy? He doesn't know what he's talking about if he only knew my life. Yeah, I was there. That's what I thought about. As I was walking, that's what I thought about. The next part of it was write them down and you will see it. Write them down. Them blessings. I've been living so long in pain, suffering, and dealing with the effects of other people's decisions and their impacts on my life that I'm in survival mode for so long. There's a big difference between being in survival mode and being in a mode of living life abundantly. Can you relate? So then I asked internally, I said, how will I identify what a blessing is? And what I received is you'll feel an uplift within you, like a jump. And you'll be consciously aware that you're smiling. Write down that experience without judgment. And paused during this walk, and I'm just processing this download. And I had a decision to make. I could just throw it along the wayside, or I could test it. And what the scriptures say we're supposed to do, it says we're supposed to test the word. Don't just merely read it, but when you receive it, test it. What does it produce? So I kept my phone with me. I kept a little notebook with me. And I kept track. Initially, the things were about me. Maybe someone opened the door for me. Or I walked somewhere and walked into a grocery store and there was my favorite dessert right there. It was anything and everything that I became aware of that caused that jump internally and the smile externally, and I just wrote it down. At the end of the night, I would collect them and I would transfer it into a larger notebook and I would pause for each one. I would relive it and then I would say thank you. I wouldn't just say it, but I would feel it. I wouldn't just feel it, but I would internalize it. I wouldn't just internalize it, but I would mend with it as if the source of the blessings and myself were one. I did this for 8 months. I noticed something. I started focusing on other people. I remember, for example, a lady walking with her baby in a stroller on the sidewalk past our house. Whoa, there's that jump. There's that smile. Write it down. I see the neighbor got a new vehicle. And instead of being jealous, I was happy for him. And I felt it and I internalized it. Here's another message I received. The thought of one thing evokes the thought of all things related to that one thing. Now, it took me a while to break this down. You see, I was seizure-free for about 8 months at the time. I was working on a social media marketing company with a neighbor. And I was thinking about getting my driver's license again, and then I got the flu. And when I got the flu, then I started having seizures again. So I'm laying in bed, I received this message crying. And what it means is this. Our thoughts are real things. If you're feeling sad, it's because you're thinking sad thoughts. If you're feeling angry, it's because you're thinking about things that happened to you, maybe that you lost control of, things that were out of your control. See, they're thought patterns, but you're not aware of them. but they're there and they have real effects. The next part of the message is write them down. See, scripture says, ask and it will be given to you. So when you ask questions, you're evoking a new consciousness within yourself. Why am I feeling sad? When did this start? Start writing that down. And as you write it down, you get a clear picture in how these feelings have developed that seem to have a life of their own, where it's overtaken you. And as you write it down, especially if you do it like in a circle, you begin to see how it's built up over time. And you have to make a decision on how do you want to feel. If you want to feel happy, then you're responsible for thinking happy thoughts. And when we take that responsibility, that's when we have control over our life. That's when we really start transitioning. You know, it's good that we share our hurts. That's part of it. But it's a fine line. Because you don't want to evoke in other people them sharing their hurts to the point where, God darn it, everybody's hurting. What about the victory that happened as a result? What about the lessons that have been learned through this process?
Hallelujah.
These are things that we wouldn't know or experience without that hurt. So there's victory. There's victory on the other side. I mean, isn't that what scripture taught us? That there's victory on the other side, that
That's right.
transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it happens through a process.
Mhm.
And don't think that the people who abuse, that they don't have a conscience, because they do. They just don't admit it. And if they want to continue to live in their misery, God damn it, if you can get away from it, that's number one. If you can get away from abuse, separate yourself from it as fast as you can, because you're worthy.
Hallelujah.
You're worthy to separate. Guard your heart, for it's the wellspring. The wellspring is within you.
Mhm.
And you have a responsibility, if you're able to separate from it. You know, love thy Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love thy neighbor as yourself. Here's a message I received. You cannot love another person any more than you love yourself.
Come on. That's it, right there.
But you can't love yourself until you understand and you grow in the love of the source that loves you.
Yep.
That loved you first, that knows the great plans he has for you.
Mhm.
Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. He didn't harm you. His plan is to prosper.
Yep.
And personally, I wouldn't even go back to the hurts other than to learn the lessons. Other than to learn the lessons and to remind yourself in challenging times that you are victorious. You are royalty. You carry the crown. Not everybody carries a crown. Seek out those who are crowned, because they have the good fruit to share with you. When you need to be replenished, you seek out people who have something good to give. And you gravitate toward it. And over a period of time, you won't settle for anything less, because you are worthy. You are worthy of love. The love that's in you is worthy to be shared. It's his goodwill for you and for others. The nurse, you are called with that compassion, with that empathy. Even though you are hurting, you are giving love to others. We all have hurts, habits, and hang-ups, but they don't have to define us. Live life with an attitude of gratitude. It can be small things. That sunset, everybody sees a sunset. But do you see it? Are you taking the time to be still to really experience it? That flower. Don't just stop to smell the flower, but look at the flower, look at the intricacy, look at the miracle of it. It can be anything and everything, and it's personal. We're not all drawn to the same things, but if the things that you're drawn to are good, you will know it because they're not hurting you. These things won't hurt you. You'll have no desire to hide from it. You'll draw toward it. It's not a fly to a flame that if he gets too close, he's scorched. No, there's no hurt. There's only renewal. There's only love, compassion, anything and everything that you think can be good and can get better. It can always get better. Even when something is good, it can get better. There's no limit other than the limits we put on it. How beautiful is that sunset? You know, and I want to share something else because I have a wife over here. Let me tell you something. She came into my life when literally every single window in the house was covered with UV blocking material because any light source would trigger seizures. She was working on a fundraiser for Lyme disease. It was a community outreach and a fundraiser for my family. She said, Nathan, are you available? I'd like to bring over some leftover Thanksgiving meal. We've been together ever since. She said, Nathan, I'm not looking for lust, I'm looking for love. I have so much love in me. I said, of course. And I'll prove it to you. And this is, a good marriage. I'll tell you what, one of the things a good marriage is, it's proof. It's proof that the love can be trusted. Because what's not to trust about real love? And it doesn't have to be sacrifice because even the definition of sacrifice a lot of times is looked down upon. It's being there for one another as a team and not having to keep score. She said to me, if we can't walk under the sunlight together, I will walk under the moonlight together for the rest of our lives. And she meant it. It took me a while to even process that it was even possible because I was married twice and left. So how is that possible? But internally, I know that I was worthy of it. And I know internally she's worthy of it. So we walk it together. We have struggles. I got physical struggles. There's things that come up. You know what? This life isn't going to be perfect. Don't look for perfection. Just look for what's good. You can never go wrong looking for what's good. If you go through your life looking for what's good, you will go through life smiling more often. You will be renewed and regenerated so that you have reserves to give to other people. Love that surpasses understanding, the love that surpasses the understanding that loved us first. You will have what you will say, wait a minute, that's not me. I can't do that. That wasn't me. No, greater is he who is in you than you are in the world. And who is he? Here's a message I received. When you breathe with your mouth closed. Open your mouth wide and breathe in deeply and out deeply, and you will hear my name. And your mouth will be a megaphone for my name. Our breath is his name. His living essence is within us. And he's expressing his love through us. So we just have to come in alignment with that desire and with that purpose. If you ever ask yourself, what is my purpose? Your purpose is to love. That it's that simple. It's to love. The way that you love is supposed to be pure. Love is to be trusted. Love is to be proven. And it takes time. Don't expect these transformations to take root overnight. A seed doesn't germinate instantly. It needs good soil. The good soil accumulates over time. You have the natural ingredients that break down and enrich the soil. You must enrich yourself first. You have to love yourself first. You have to work on yourself first. And you do that by spending quiet time with the source of love. Like you're that child again. That child that desired more than anything else to be loved, to be accepted, to be heard. Spend that time with your Creator. And as you spend that time, you'll realize that never did He leave or forsake you, never. And He won't. It's an impossibility because He indwelleth you. His very essence is your essence. And over a period of time, you can look in the mirror and you can say, I'm beautiful. I'm unique. I'm beautiful in my own way. I don't have to compare myself to other people. That's vanity. That's ego. It's just looking at things for what they are in a way that is inviting. When you invite love into your own life, then you'll have what's left to give that love back to other people. And I believe that's why we're here. I mean, 40 years, Rock? Are you kidding me, brother? 40 years, right?
40 years.
Right? Yeah. Well, you know what? You loved on a lot of people, and a lot of people have loved on you. Right? Let's admit it. Right? That love, that source of love, permeates in all of us. We all have the ability to love, but you have to grow in that love first. Otherwise, what are you going to give? You know? Good fruit will only produce good things. If you take a look at Galatians and you really look at what are the examples of good fruit, and it's just a little snippet. There's tons. It's limitless, but they all produce things that are worthy of sharing with others. When you see something beautiful and you appreciate it and you share it with another person, they may or may not appreciate it, but the fact is that the motive of sharing was right because it was love. And you have the potential for another person to experience what you experience. And they may not experience the same way, but that's fine. It's in their own way, in their own time, and it's right and it's perfect in that timing. The time is now. If you have spent your life looking in the mirror and seeing a victim, the time is now to transform.
Yes.
The time is now. Or you can carry it the rest of your life because it is a choice. I look at the lessons learned from other people. My mom lost her freedom. She lost her children because she identified herself as a victim. In many ways, she missed the limitless blessings that were available for her. She experienced some at times, but not in the fullness that she could have. So no matter what we go through, no matter what pain we have, no matter what suffering we've experienced, please understand, and I'm saying this from my heart, but please understand that you have a responsibility. And you do have a choice. So please choose wisely.
All right.
Nice.
This guy motivates the socks off of me in so many ways. And I've been playing in the background. I was looking for the right song. I started with Overflow, but this is called Look at the Branches. That's what he's talking about. He always shares online, if you follow me, that share good fruit purposefully. That's his main saying. Share good fruit purposefully. So when I wrote this song, it was really very in alignment with the agreement that Nathan and I come together with when we share it. Because it's basically saying the fruit is not in the religion, it's in the love. And that's what you're hearing over and over and over. I'm glad you're hearing that because we really want people to realize. Now, Nathan doesn't know this yet, but I kind of told him earlier that he's going to be one of the regulars on the Mind of Messiah Motivation podcast that I'm doing, which is only 7 minutes every day. 7 minutes in the morning, power punch, just get people fired up, and it's called Mom. So, one of the songs that we got, you can hear in the background, it goes, Mom, 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 Mom. It's got kind of like that 1950s thing, but it's Mind of Messiah Motivation. And we own the domain, if you want to write this down, but it'll be on the recording, so that's good. Mom.Mom. Because there is a .mom now instead of a .com. So it's just Mom.Mom. Mind of Messiah Motivation. So 2 M's and then .mom. So 7 minutes in the morning, we want to be there for anybody that wants a little pump up, because how many people can use a pump up in the morning, right? And it's going to be, it's going to be a great program. Now, we've done Mind of Messiah Motivation before, but it was the long versions. San and I have decided, because we know people's attention span, and that's why this whole day for 12 hours, we know it's a rough day for people to do the whole day. And I appreciate, Bill was the first one here, besides the ones that stayed overnight. And, he said, I'm here to the end. Now some of you I realize can't be, but there's some people that didn't even show up. So the fact that this is being recorded, the fact that this is being broadcast, live streamed, all these different things becomes very relative to our future. Because what we're doing as people that are called, chosen, and here called few are chosen, right? To walk in this purpose of speaking. I mean, you may not realize how motivating what you did today was, Wendy, but you motivated so many people when they hear this, right? I know my granddaughter already has, because people are like, Stacy back there, when she was talking to me, she's like, your granddaughter is like amazing. And I'm like, I know, it just blows my mind, I think she's chosen, and people are like, kind of like Moses, right? No, don't pick me, don't pick me. I don't want to be, going up and talking to Pharaoh, And I think a lot of us that, are in that position, it's like, well, we don't want to walk in that, but it was so cool with all the scriptural references that you used. And I think those things that we can hang our hat on, are really important as we go through this life. Because this life is hard. But when you start speaking the word, I'm telling you, for me, I've watched it. Things will start shifting, things will start moving. And, I've been proclaiming over this whole thing, we're going to part the Red Seas. We're going to have the mountains move. We're going to see great things. And I put the format and the speakers and everything. I said, okay, whoever shows up, shows up. And there's some that didn't even have the courtesy to text me or call me. But you know what? As Bill was one of my wise counsels in life, he told me in the beginning, he said, don't worry about who's not here. Whoever's supposed to be here is here. and they're important. I want you all to know you're really important, and it means everything to me that you came. Okay, everything, because when you get older, you start wondering, okay, well, who are the 6 that are going to carry my casket? Mike says, "Don't ask me. I'm not doing it."
I can barely put my underwear on.
What do? You start thinking, my granddaughter said fake friends. You start realizing how many of your friends are fake as you get older. It's like, the guy's not, you don't give a crap about me. You don't care. Yeah.
You know what though? Facebook wants us to believe that we have 500 friends. Whether we want to admit it or not, most people that are identified as friends are really associates.
Yeah.
And the more that we come to that realization, the less we're going to experience when we call and they don't call us back. A true friend, and everything has a season as well. You know what I mean? Everything on this earth has a season.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I guess the way that I look at it is when you are connected to someone, hopefully you're sharing the best of yourselves with one another.
That's really good. Thank you. I wanted to also just put a little really big thing to think about. I was the DJ of this area. Okay, I did Partyville, and I did Mazomania, and I did Baraboo, and I did Wisconsin Delta, and I did Portage. I mean, I played here every weekend. These guys loved me out here in Narcotics Anonymous. Now, I'm not trying to rip on Narcotics Anonymous. There's people come and people go in any of these different fellowships. Celebrate Recovery, Stan got originally clean and Celebrate Recovery. Whatever way that you got here is him, no matter what. Okay, he finds us when we're out there puking in the toilet. And say, "Oh, guys, listen, believe me." He finds us. He pursues us. And I wrote a song about how Yaakov, who became Yashrael, pursued Rachel and how he loved Rachel. And there's words for it in the language, but I'm not going to get into the Aramaic and the Paleo that deep with you, but I'll just tell you, it's so much deeper than what we read in the English word. This song that I wrote, it uses that word and it gives the real definition, and it's just like shalom. Shalom is not the same as peace. They say it's the same. They say it's this, the English word for shalom is peace. It doesn't even come close to what that depth of shalom is all about. And Sand was the first one to do that scripture study. And I was like, she's really a good teacher, man. I'm learning stuff from this woman. This is a great marriage, I loved it. So I just want to make that really clear that things are when it comes to friends, I had all these Narcotics Anonymous friends, and they're still friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I
Be there unless you delete them or they delete you.
I started writing them all, and one of the guys came to every gig that I did 40 years ago. I remember him walking up to me and he said, "Man, you make recovery fun. You make guys want to get clean and stay clean. This is so fun." And I remember when I first got sober, which is why I became the DJ, was I sat back and go, "Well, if I'm not getting drunk, how am I going to have any fun?" I didn't know how I've been getting drunk since I was 5 years old with my grandfather. I didn't know how to have fun without alcohol. That's Wisconsin culture in a lot of ways too, It's just where we grow up.
Here's the good news, it's changing. Youth are not drinking nearly as much.
I'm glad to hear that. I haven't heard that since
Michigan. I guess it depends on the youth, but.
Well, at least they're not going to Minnesota. We'll just say that. Okay.
Either or. Illinois,
All I can say about that is I personally reached out. You don't realize how much time I put into this event. I personally reached out to all these people, you know? And this one guy, I won't say his name, but he says to me, he goes, well, Rock, I haven't seen you in years. I said, yeah. And he says, well, I got my friends now. Almost as if I'm not a friend anymore, right? I got my friends now. And he said, they're mostly in my church. That was the best thing he could have said, because it makes, boy, you're really loud in here. What's going on with you, man? That, ooh, okay, I'll hold it down here. That really makes my point. That's why I'm so angry at religion, because of statements like that. It's like, are you kidding me? For me, you become my friend, and we're gonna love the neighbor as myself. We're gonna be a two chaperone. We're gonna be a good Samaritan. We're gonna help each other out when we're down and out. You are a friend for life. Ask Scott Brad, he can't get rid of me. It's right. That's right.
Hey, Rocky, I want to share something.
Yeah.
As good as it is to have friends to share when you're down and out, it's even better to share when you're up and up,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So all I was saying is he gave me the rejection. And it was almost as though they've all been talking about me, because I think they loved me as long as I was going to NA and I was the big shot in NA. But when I became a minister, when I all of a sudden got licensed and I got ordained, and I thought, wow, they're really gonna love me. I'm actually really becoming spiritual. And I was getting spiritual, but I was doing it their way, the system way. And they just started pushing me away. And they didn't want to be my friend anymore. And most people don't understand what kind of thing, you don't want to call it ministry, what kind of thing me and Sandra are doing today. It's different. It's just different. It just is what we're called to do. This is what we're called to do, you know? And I don't want to fit in somebody else's box, but there's a lot of people that think I'm still in that old box, and I'm not. And it's their loss, but it's not one person from this Baraboo and Wisconsin Rapids and all these people. It's 100+ people that I reached out to, and I'm like, hey, so a lot of us have been clean 40 years. I'm not the only guy. They were there. I was there when they went to their first meeting. They're maybe 38 years clean or 35 years clean. Doesn't matter. They're not here. And they told me no right up front. Or they just need to respond, which is like really like, wow, I thought you were like the big shot of NA. You're clean longer than me. I thought you were like really this great program, and you know, and I would have asked some of them to speak. But there's a reason I didn't ask them to speak, and now I know why. Nathan blew them out of the water. Nathan, you were great, and thank you so much for the love gift. Sam wants me to do my cake while you guys are still here, because you were nice enough to bring me a cake. Did anyone else bring a cake? I don't know who brought cakes.
I did. I didn't make it here, buddy. So.
Your cake is made.
My daughter made a cake, yeah. Who else? Yeah, I said my daughter.
The cake and the cupcake.
Oh, and the cupcakes, okay. And Aunt Linda, thank you for the cake, and it even has my name on it, right? Okay, so let's grab the cameras, let's take pictures of the cake that says rock on it. Because that's me. Okay. And thank you. We're gonna take a little break and have some cake, but whoever's got cameras, please just totally, let's get that.
Okay.
Oh, and more music from Roxanne.
All right. If I look like this young man, it's other people. Yeah, come on, into the medical professional, she's got a cramp. That's what my mom used to say, your fingers hanging there like by a choice. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's like a cell phone, stitches later, you know, Sarah, can I get up? I don't know what I guess, it's
Mrs. Sam Sabat song. Yeah.
If I can, what's the, oh, secret.
That's after I had.
Begin practice it. Probably my goodness. I've done so much to hear. However, the miracle I just love was that by taking a full day's rest, you should actually have the opposite. And prepare to handle the stress of the square throughout the week. I actually need to understand the seventh day.
I think you know.
Yes.
Well, then. So then where are this money? Take your credit and walk. Yeah, I heard you. I'm gonna do
All right, so Santa asked that I do the song that she wrote about our journey to get to Wisconsin, which is called Yep, It Happened. Yeah, and I don't think this is published yet. So this is like, you're getting. I'm gonna play them all, but if you listen closely to the words, you're gonna hear like the whole story. And she could have added more stuff. That's just. So we're gonna give it a shot.
I got one hand. I want to be fighting in West. So, well, sure. It's quite a Wednesday. For a lot, almost 695. Oh. Yeah. He's got.
Sandra. Sam. Sam. I don't know what versions are that. Yeah, you gotta.
Okay, that's cool, yeah.
There's a playlist,
Yeah, fast draw.
and the playlist has them in the row. Yeah, it's got my song, you see it. It's all in a row.
That's what's pretty cool. All right, here it is.
Yeah, it's a
Ready, on speakers, hold rock steady. Circus engine live, prepared decisions. 2 weeks to go. We need to pass our initial straight back. So I was letting the trucks running. Put up these spins. Come over the fight. Yeah, it hawks. We can now renew it. The work on trail is still left to do. Over how much you know I did. Instead of converting to units to get changed. Tell us. We get the question before and that sorrow will come through for taking Big flash and And I think it's generated to talk that's not. And you, what you say, it was over. The rains was an overflow, so go home and down the mountain, get this chicken off the face. Billy. Friends, your legs and starts spreading.
Yeah, the market. Oh, yeah, this thing. Still, you think about it, maybe sorry. You Yeah. Just came out, right? Came out of my mouth. We all have habits and hang ups.
Yeah.
But we don't have to hang on.
Good.
I told you. Wow.
All right, well, some people are coming, but Bill has to go soon, and he's gonna speak and give a send-off message. But how long do you wanna go? Cause I know you're tired.
I'm gonna go until I'm done, but it's not long. Okay, it's worth your stay, because this is entirely different than anything you've heard here this afternoon.
Whether.
Sit down, you're talking.
It doesn't matter what religion or anything that you decide to follow.
All right, so if we can get Bill.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thoughts, then no, and.
Now, don't take this opportunity to run out,
Oh, wait a minute.
because
When you live out state.
what you're going to hear now is entirely different than anything else you've heard here today.
I just heard that though. That's what you just said.
Yeah.
I'm really,
Yeah.
you may find this worth your time.
All right.
Good luck to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's you.
And I drove fast around, and I was in the danger, I told to it.
It's, Verizon had.
That's why I forgot the mic stands, you know?
So, shut back, basically, yeah, so just a little foot.
And in fact, there's a good chance that what I'm going to talk about is going to change the trajectory of your life, because that's my purpose.
That's pretty fun.
And I'll wait until everybody's kind of closed in.
Well, you're
And grab a seat. It's not going to be long, but it's going to be worth sitting down for. Now all I got to do is decide what I'm
Are
going to
you
say.
gonna be, are you gonna be back there? Are you gonna be over
Where,
here?
where do you want me? I
Well,
want
right
to
where
be,
you were.
I want to be here.
Yeah,
Okay,
I had a great side view for you. Yeah.
This is good.
Here's you in the camera right there.
I can't find
I'll wait till we got, Shan's attention, because she's never heard this before.
Let me just give a better intro than what I did. All right, so just so everybody knows, Bill is probably one of the most successful friends that I have. And I'm saying that in reality. His band business is the best band business in the entire state of Wisconsin, bar none, one of the best in the entire United States. His photography business is the same quality. It's top notch, okay, with the headshots, Milwaukee headshots. Bill Sargent Bands is got, what's the maximum, 21 piece?
No, I 14 instrumentalists and 2 vocalists. 13 instrumentalists, 2 vocalists.
And then we got a business that we did together. That's how we met.
And we're not going to talk
And
about
we're not going to talk about that, but he's been very successful in that as well.
We're all sitting down.
It's okay.
Gee, I was
gonna give
him a little indication of what you guys
it. And in fact, I think I just want to kind of relax here for a minute.
Don't sit on the tables. We already had one fall. You
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
want to sit in a chair?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Just in case.
You know, I should have been born in Missouri, because I'm the kind of person who has to, you got to prove it to me. You got to show it. Okay. And this God thing, and okay, I grew up in a church that we had the hymnals. And really, I thought for the longest time that the Holy Spirit was really that something that they got because they were singing such strange keys, they were hyperventilating and they got lightheaded. And then, yeah, I thought that's what it was. And I didn't grow up in a churchy family at all. My parents didn't, but there was this cute girl that sang in the choir, so I went to church. And, yeah, so I grew up with that, and it was the question, okay, is it real, is it real, is it, and so you gotta prove it to me. And in that kind of a situation, God got a hold of me a couple of times and said, see? Yeah, it was like, okay, I'll give you a couple of examples. One night, I was driving down Highway 51, just north of Madison, outside of the forest. And at that time, that was a 2-lane highway. And it was later at night, and I was driving a Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham with a Corvette engine in it. and I come up on a guy with a pickup truck pulling a trailer that I thought was going just a little too slow. So, needless to say, I just had to leave that behind me. So I come out and I come to pass this thing, and no sooner than I got right alongside it. Now, gotta remember, when you've got a pickup truck and then you add the length of a trailer, you got quite a bit of, you gotta haul butt, you know? And so I'm out and I'm hauling butt and I'm right beside it. And all of a sudden I looked up and there are headlights. And it was like, there's no time to pass it, no chance. There's no way to brake and go behind it because I don't have enough time. And there's no way to go this way. And it's right there. And we're at a really high closing rate of speed. And I did the only thing I knew to do. Yeah, Jesus. And I swear, I did not close my eyes. I was not going to miss what happened next. And suddenly, no sooner than I said, "Gee," and that car was in my rearview mirror going the other way. Now, I know it couldn't have gone between us. And I know that it didn't go this way. It just all of a sudden was there. And I can only think of what was going through the brain of either of the other people. Because the only thing that could have happened, only thing, was God just lifted up that car, put it behind me. Wow. It's the only thing. The only thing. I said, okay. One night, I'm in that same Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, and I'm going down the interstate just across the state line, going into Illinois. And as you cross into the state line in Illinois, and the 3-lane highway, it curves off that way. Now, I'm in the middle of a snowstorm, and I was probably going a little too fast. And I was in that same Fleetwood Brougham, and I come around that corner, and all of a sudden, the car did this. And I found myself going sideways down the road. And I looked at out my rear view mirror, there was that steel electrical pole and me one-on-one closing really fast. Now, I had no control of the car whatsoever. It was gonna go where it was gonna go. And so here's the steel, and I looked there and I did the only thing I knew to do. I yelled out, Jesus. And instantly, that car turned and continued down the correct path in the correct lane down that highway. And I made no change in the direction of that car. I did nothing. It just happened. And there was no curb there. There was nothing that started. It just changed. One night, I was going down that same 3-lane road. Just where it's Elm Street exit or something, the last exit coming out of Milwaukee going south. And they had just reconstructed that highway some time ago. And so what it was you kind of came up an incline and it kind of curved around this way. Now, I had gotten behind a semi. It was going a little too slow. But I didn't care. I didn't care. And that was weird. And I was also doing, and I was also doing something else here that was kind of out of character for me. I'm not really one of those continually praying persons. I'm just not. I pray when I've got a need. I pray when I've got a petition, but these people just pray all day long and stuff like that. I don't connect with it, okay? This is just not me. But for some reason, I found myself praying that night. And I was praying. I don't even remember what praying about. And I'm going a little slow, and I didn't care in that middle lane. And all of a sudden, there are headlights in the left lane that came up instantly around that corner and up over that hill. And if I had been where I would normally be, I wouldn't be having this testimony here today. Because it was coming the other direction in the wrong lane, in the wrong side of the highway, and I would have been in its path. I could go on with several stories like this for quite a while. But you see, for me, God's a real thing. It's not a, oh, I hope he's there. It's not that way at all. It's a reality. I can prove it now. I've got proof because none of the things I just mentioned could have happened any other way. Just not possible. And so I talk to people about the God thing, and they say you're never supposed to discuss religion or politics. And those are the first two things I always want to talk about. Because they're the only two, they're the most important things. They're the two things that take care of everything else. And so I'm good with having conversations with people. I tell people, listen, if we do not talk about these things, we don't change things. We let people walk around being ignorant. And Charlie Kirk was my hero. Because in fact, I was fortunate enough to have a private coffee with Charlie. And he was the guy who would go ahead, ask me the question, let's talk, let's have a conversation. And one of the challenges we have today is nobody wants to have that conversation because they're afraid somebody's going to get offended.
Right.
Well, if we don't have the conversation, we can never discern who is on the right side of the fence and who's walking into the truck that's coming in that direction. No, we've got to have the conversation. And so I encourage people, I'm in 6 chambers of commerce. I'm in the Convention Visitors Bureau. I'm in several networking organizations. And I'm all over the place, and I want to have conversation. I just want to engage people. Now, I don't want to preach to people. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go into the religion. I don't want to do that. That's not. And I'm not real good. Some people are really good at quoting, oh, this and this and that. Man, I got 2 or 3 or 4 I can remember, and the rest I just got to look up. Just the way it is. But I want to talk to them and say, this is real. This is not a belief. It's a reality. It's not here's what I'm kind of on the side. I like these people over here, so I'm going to be over here. No, why are we over here? Because this works and that doesn't. And anytime we do something that is in opposition to this, it doesn't work. And that goes right into politics. I mean, because economics, tithing, charity, things like that, doing for others, free enterprise. People are poo-pooing Elon Musk right now. Elon, the devil, man. Hold it, wait a second. Elon made it so that some people can hear that couldn't hear before. And he's making it so that actually fully blind people can see. And he's making it so that we can do this, and we can do this, and we can do this. And how did he get so wealthy? Because people are voting for him with their product. Whenever we take $1 out of our pocket, it's a vote to somebody. And if that product is no good, we don't spend it there anymore, and they go out of business. But if that product is really good, people become millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires because it's really good. And we want it, and we're voting for it. One day, I was on Facebook. And they were discussing poverty in the city of Milwaukee, poverty. And right here. Okay. Hi, Mom. They were discussing poverty in the city of Milwaukee. And they had the mantra going on at that time, the 99%ers. If you 99%ers give us what you've got, we'll all be good. I thought, oh, how ridiculously stupid. And so I threw this out. Now, I knew what I was doing.
And I pushed the button, and so I said, and this microphone has just gone dead. So,
All right. Yeah,
okay. Grab the other.
And it should be
Testing
on.
1, 2.
No.
Okay. Testing
Oh.
1, 2.
The speaker went off.
Speaker went off, okay. I'll wait till it comes back, cause this is, well, thank you for coming.
If you have to kick it, it's not a good product.
Testing on to, oh, there we go. Okay. We were discussing poverty in the city of Milwaukee, and I threw this out. They were talking about the 99 percenters. And I said, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor, and nothing the government will ever do will ever change that. I sat back and I watched brains explode and spatter on ceilings and walls all over Milwaukee and Facebook land. Hey, Lucy, how can you say that? I said, oh, isn't that interesting? So I decided to test it. And I went to the superintendent principal guy that we had spent tens of thousands of dollars putting our girls K through 12. I thought it was a good deal. And I said to him, I says, they say the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Why? And he hemmed and he hawed like that for a couple of minutes. And I said to him, he looked and he says, that's a very good question. I'd have to think about that. I didn't do it like that, but in my brain I went, and so then I went, I says, okay, you think about it, I'll be back in a few days and so I went right into the guidance counselor's office. The guy that's got all the hash marks up on the wall for everybody sent away to an indoctrination center. And I asked him the very same question. And he had the very same expression, the hands. It's a very good question. I didn't have to think about that. I says, okay, I'll give you a few days, I'll be back. I gave him 4 or 5 days, I came back. I say, okay, you've had time to think about it. Here's the question. The rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Why? I don't know. He says, okay, I'm going to give you the answer. When I give you the answer, you're going to go, oh, but of course. And then my back of my brain, and then I'm going to want to slap you. And I says, okay. The rich get richer because they learn and continually apply success principles in their daily lives. The poor do the exact same thing with failure principles. Now, the good news is those success principles are available for free to anyone. And that's why the government will never change it. Because the government's only answer to a problem is we're going to throw some money at it, we'll develop a department, and we'll hire some more people, grow the government a little bit, we'll maintain it, but we're not going to fix it. If you don't believe me, look at the war on poverty 60-some years later. Or the war on drugs. Okay. So I says, okay, now that you know the answer to the question, in these 4 walls, within these 4 walls, you're teaching philosophy, literature, and all these things which they're never going to remember any of when they walk out the front door, except what temperature water freezes at. So what is your class for success? Now, I walked out of there that morning with a resolve. It says, that's wrong. Now, I already knew that there weren't any courses on success out there, so to speak. There are a couple. I says, okay, this got to change. I'm going to change. Let me see. A class for success. Okay, they're only going to give me one school year. So 1 school year, 2 semesters, 4 quarters, 4 books. If I were going to choose 4 books to lay on somebody's hands that would change the course of their life, which 4 books? Bam, 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 bam. Cool. And from that point on out, for the next 11 years, I successfully procrastinated and thought about it. Okay, well, if they finish this class, and where could they take that a step further? And then where would they go for extra credit? And what about this over here? And oh yeah, that over here, we gotta do that there. And so on. And I walked around having coffees with people and having conversations, and I would tell them my story. I can change this nation. Oh yeah, I can. I can change this nation. I know how to do it. And they would immediately see the tinfoil hat come right up out of my head. And I mean it. I can. I know how. And then one day, I'm at Steak and Shake. I'm having a one-on-one coffee with a spunky gal. I just dearly love her. And I told her the story. She says, okay, Bill. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. I'm going to get back together with you in 2 weeks. I want to see this thing. Okay. Gauntlet thrown down. Done. 2 weeks later, I got together with it. And 2 weeks later, I produced the Club for Success. Now, this Club for Success, I don't care what a person does. I don't care what position they're in. I don't care where they are in their journey. If they do this, they're going to become wildly more successful than they ever thought they possibly could. I guarantee it. And here's the cool part. There's nothing to join. There's no dues. There's no subscriptions. There's no sales funnel. And I don't even take email addresses. And I give this away freely. I start giving this to kids when I do a lot of junior achievement stuff. And when they're in middle school, each middle school kid I get in front of gets one of these. Every high school kid I get in front of gets one of these. And the operative question here is, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, if you knew that one day you would be dependent on your kids, what would you be teaching differently today? Isn't that a good question? Yeah. Well, Mr. Smith, do you have some other parents that you know that feel the same way about it? Yeah. Bob and I talk about it all the time. Yeah. Well, how about this? You know, today we have filled our time more than any other time period in history. If we have an open gap of time, we're going to fill it. I mean, we've got little kids, 5-year-olds going off to karate clubs. We've got 6-year-olds in soccer. We've got scrapbooking clubs. We got butterfly net clubs. If we got an open space, we're going to fill it. Well, so why not fill it with 1 hour a week with this and get together those parents and go through this? It'll change everything. So, Club for Success. Now, I will tell you this, and this is where I can tie it. There's not one single success principle ever to exist on planet Earth that's not in here someplace. All here. And I think that's what I'm going to leave you with here. So first, Jeff, and I appreciate you indulging me for the last however long I've been rambling on here. All right, so I'm gonna do what I did not expect to do, but that's because I only got 3 hours of sleep and my eyeballs cannot see. I have contact lenses in and I got such a dry eye right now. I can't see a thing. I have like pieces of plastic on my eyes. So what I'm thinking is the people that I know are my fam here that want to go, right? And I mean, unless you want to stay to hear me speak, then I will. And I'll just pop my contact lenses out and I won't be able to see you guys, but I know what to say anyway. So let's take a vote. But yeah, what I was gonna do is this, I was gonna take a break, right? And come back and I'll just do the final speech for the day or the final talk for the day or whatever. But that'll give you guys, if we start at 7:30, that'll give you guys 2 hours of a break. And then what I'll do is take my contact lenses out and I'm gonna take a nap. I love naps. I am the nap master. She doesn't like naps, but.
Just let me go out to the truck, I gotta come out of school, we'll get them out.
So.
Scott won't help me, I guarantee you.
For any of you that would like to stick around and come back at 7:30, raise your hands. I'll come back. And if you'd rather have me keep going, I'll pop my lenses out and I'll just pound this thing out.
Take a break, buddy.
Take a break.
Should I?
You've had a long week.
You can put it on.
It's been quite the week. Yep, that happened. It sure did.
We do appreciate all the energy you put in here.
Otherwise, yeah.
And definitely appreciate my wife because she works her butt off.
Take a recharge. Recharge.
Yeah.
All right.
Charge.
Well, we're gonna film it at 7:30, all right? And we'll meet right back here. Let's take a break because I think we need it. I need it. So thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna jam a little bit of music though before I go.
Form of distribution of.
I'm sure she's.
Very simple. Books and bring those books in them.
What books?
Read letters.
The religious books.
Oh, the ones you're gonna give me. Not right now. If you're staying the night, right?
No,
Oh, you're going
I
back.
have to tomorrow.
Oh, you gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, are you gonna come back at 7:30 though to speak? You hear me speak?
Exactly, that's
For
what
a
I
half
have.
hour.
Yeah. And those are the presents that you have? Is those?
That's some.
Okay.
That's some of them.
So can you present those to me at 7:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta have a break, man.
Yeah.
My eyes are really out.
Right.
The eyes is the form. I don't know how to close this camera with a camera covering this thing. I choose to spend my dollar for this. I choose to spend my dollar.
Oh, I get that.
And,
I get it.
and there's unlimited flowers.
Yes.
So the entire thing
Traveling the girls?
No.
it's free, but it hasn't been full. I need to move.
I mean, you consider yourself more on the conservative side, or you just kind of.
I bring my kids. My daughter's going to school in Minneapolis.
This yacht is sorrowing, killing me. It's working deliverance.
Yep, that's very. I tend to get a little upset, that's because it's be down to my road there.
all.
But the prison can't take its hold. Feel like the muddy river rain. Society is taking